Hi. So today what we're going to do is I wanted to just give you a bit of a guide. Why not? Let's call it a guide, seeing as we're going to talk about sitemaps, and we're also going to talk about robots.txt files. These are really important, kind of fundamental pieces of your website, elements of your website that you just need to, get your head around. So I thought that, let's talk that through today. So, have you ever heard of a sitemap, or what about robots.txt? Don't worry if you haven't, or if you kind of half understand what they are, because today what I want to do is give you some clarity on what they both are, how they work, and why they're important for your website. So let's start with sitemaps. So a sitemap is basically, it's literally a map of your website. Okay, what it does is it lists all your site's URLs, and it allows the search engines to crawl your website pages a bit more easily. I always think of a sitemap like, if you go into a gallery or a museum, you've got those little kind of paper leaflets that set out the galleries for you, what's in each of the rooms. So that's kind of what a sitemap is. It's a guide for the search engine crawlers to make it easier for them to work through your website, and so that they know about every page that you consider important and want to be indexed. Okay. So having a well-constructed sitemap can be really helpful for websites. It's kind of on two ends of the spectrum. That they're really, really helpful if you've got a massive website with tons of pages, but they're also really helpful for new websites without many external links. They just help the crawlers get a better idea of where they are and what they're doing. So there's two types of sitemap. There's the XML sitemaps, which is what I'm kind of referencing in what we're talking about today, and they're the ones that help the search engines understand and navigate your website. So they provide the bots with a really simple list of the URLs, and there's all sorts of other information in them, like modification date, frequency of changes, all that kind of thing, which isn't necessarily important for you to understand. It's important for Google or the search engine to understand. And it also helps the crawlers understand the importance of pages relevant, relative to each other. So it helps with crawl efficiency. So that's an XML sitemap. An HTML sitemap is something that's created for the website user, so not for the bots, but for the actual visitors. And they're a kind of a list of website pages, and they link to the major sections and pages within your website. And they basically help you navigate. They help visitors to your website navigate your site. So one's XML for the bots, HTML for the actual real-life human visitors. So let's have a talk about robots.txts. So robots.txt files is a site that sits at the root, or like the trunk of your website, at the very base of your website, and it tells the search engines which pages or sections of your site shouldn't be crawled, so should not be crawled and indexed. Okay, so now it doesn't necessarily. The search engines don't necessarily kind of respect this. It's a request, or an indication of what you want to be, what you want to be ignored, essentially. And this is really useful for directing the search engine crawlers away from duplicate content or private areas of your website, or utilities pages, things like your login reset, things that you just don't want to be crawled, because they're not ever, you don't ever really want them to be on page one. You don't want your login reset page to be ranking number one on the page of Google. It's a waste. Okay, so any sections like your utilities pages, areas that are under construction, or as I say, private areas, course areas, these can all be set told in your robots.txt file not to be crawled and indexed. So yeah, the ultimate purpose of a robots.txt file is to manage crawler traffic to your site. If you are too worried about it, it helps avoid overload of servers, and basically just helps keep certain pages out of the search results. Okay. So how does one of these robots.txt file or txt files work? So basically what it does is it uses a user agent directive. Okay, again, we're probably getting a bit too kind of techie here, but basically what it's doing is it tries to command the crawlers and say, what it will say is it will decide which of the crawlers can actually crawl your website, and it uses commands like disallow or allow to indicate which of the paths are blocked or permitted. Okay, so disallow, blocked, allowed, permitted. So it just kind of, it's like, imagine like a road worker holding up these signs: permitted, blocked. Okay, so it is possible for you to go in and edit your robots.txt file. I wouldn't personally, even as an SEO expert, I'd ask a developer to come and help me. But it is quite easy to make mistakes. But so as I say, there are much easier ways of kind of essentially editing your robots.txt file without actually going into the file itself. I think the easiest way to indicate which pages you want to be crawled or not is to go into your website's page settings and ensure they're either set to show in the search results or not show in the search results. Every single platform's got a different way of doing this. So just Google how to edit, show in the search results on your particular platform. So, as I say, so what's the difference? Let's just sum this up. So what are the differences? Sitemaps, robots.txt files are both really important for SEO, but they serve two different purposes. So sitemaps make sure that the search engines can find and index all your important pages. So it's like a guide inviting the search engines to come in and crawl and understand your site structure. The robots.txt files are used to exclude your pages from crawling and indexing, and so imagine, I always think again of whereas you've got your sitemap with somebody handing out the leaflets, your robots.txt file is the doorman. Okay, it's restricting access to certain areas of your site. Now, again, so it is important. It's not always the search engines don't always take that direction. It's a very strong suggestion, I think, a robots.txt file to either to include or not include in the search results, in the indexing. So here's some tips, quick tips. Sitemaps, keep your XML sitemap updated. If you're making lots of changes to your website, or you've had a massive download of brilliant blogs, or you've got rid of a whole load of pages, just resubmit your sitemap to Google Search Console. Yes, and that's the other point is to make sure that you are you submit your sitemap to Google Search Console to start with. And then to keep it updated. Your robots.txt file, edit it edit it if you can. It's a really important thing to manage. I would edit it on the essentially on the front end of my website by toggling the include or do not include in the search engines buttons wherever they are on your platform. Go and have a dig. So there you go. Robots.txt sitemaps. They're one of those things that cause all sorts of confusion, and they're really, really simple. So they're just, it's important to understand the difference and how they work, and really how to get them working for you. So go and submit your sitemap, and go and find out how to toggle show or don't show in the search engines, and that's how you editing your robots.txt file kind of on the front end. So go and if you want to have a read of the blog, you can click on the link, and you can have a read through the tips that I've got for you there. So I'll see you next time. All right, bye.